So, hi, this is the Claro Drupal Admin UI meeting for May 6th, 2020. And I think we have at least 3 issues proposed. Laura, you want to take it away?
Yep. So I posted a few issues on the thread, but I wanted to discuss any preference onto which one should we look at first. Maybe the tables overflow mobile seems like something that we could look into.
I don't mind.
Okay. Do we have a... So I'll take this quickly to my local and share my screen. So this is the issue on responsive tables. And so basically I gave some feedback on the design of the shadow here. And so I guess the problem that I was stating was that the shadow was like a straight line from top to bottom. And I thought it didn't look very natural, especially because you could see kind of where it ended in the top. And then I guess the second problem was that it didn't look natural when you scrolled because of it would just suddenly appear and suddenly disappear. And let's see. I'm wondering if Ben has this on local, because I don't know what happened to my...
Yeah, hold on. Let me just, I'll switch branches and find it.
But I get your point. You mean that we have a smooth beginning and a smooth ending, right?
That's what I was kind of advocating for, that we would implement that, but there's some challenges in implementing that. So what we have now is not trying to imitate that, but it's not exactly working like that. So I wanted to kind of show how it is now and ask, what do you think if we would be fine with that?
Okay.
I almost have it. Okay.
Ben, did you get it working, or?
Yeah,
I think
yep.
managed
I
to
just
expand
got it working.
Great.
Okay. So this is the shadow. So it gradually starts. It's not at its full width until a little later, and then it only it fades in as, so if you notice here, when there's no scroll capacity, it's not there, and then it fades in gradually. Similarly, on the other side, it's not present if there's no overflow in that direction, and then it comes back gradually. And I will concede that it's not quite as nice as the background attach approach to this. But I summarized in the issue that there were 2 limitations to that approach that I'm not sure how to get around or if it's possible. And the first is that approach would not create a shadow over the sticky header due to the Z indexing. And the sticky header is part of the scrolling element. So it'd be kind of strange to have it scroll despite not being visually cued. And the other issue is that that approach would not be visible unless it is the table cells are transparent backgrounds. So for example, if something is highlighted, it just goes away. And it also prevents if there are modules, contributed modules that are coloring the table, the shadow would disappear as well. So those were my concerns, and this is my best approximation at a similar experience.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it possible that we can remove this border-like, like this white stripes on the left and the back, that the shadow is just on the edge, basically on the browser window? Because that would look more natural, at least to me, because currently it looks a bit compressed into, if you think of a mobile which already has not really much space, now these two bars on the left and the right, the white, I call them white stripes now, looks like a border, that takes up some space. Could we basically get rid of that?
Oh, so
You know what I mean? Yes.
So just remove the padding.
Yeah, basically that when you scroll the table, that the shadow is basically just on the edge of the browser window. Would that be a possibility to do? Because I think it would look more natural and nicer, because then like the content is overflowing. Currently it looks like it's behind this frame. It looks like a frame, at least to me. Maybe Christina has another opinion on that.
I do have your exact opinion. It's just that I don't think it's technically possible right now unless we change the approach we are taking for the layout right now, which we want to change, but I don't think we can, especially because the wrapper already has this padding on left and right, if I'm not wrong, Lauri.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like a padding of the whole page. You could use something like initiative margin to kind of push it outside of that. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a design and usability question, like whether we want content to be that close to the border of the phone and like that close to the edge of the screen and so on.
I think it's a nice thing to do, because Sasha is right on having this on the left and right doesn't add value, quite the opposite. But right now, how the layout is, I think it makes more sense, at least for now, to keep it. And the moment that we can finally get rid of the white background and the whole page wrapper and just keep adding it to regions, I think it will make more sense to, at that point, just don't have this general padding.
But does the situation really change? Because when we have the layer, you still have padding for the table, right? Or would you just make the table? Well, at least I did it. It's not that we need to do it, but in my head, it would still have some padding there. Yeah, I mean, if it's not possible, then it's not possible. It's just like, I think visually it would be nicer, because currently it looks like the table is, like it's behind the frame, kind of. But it's just a visual regression, not a functional one. So I think we can also do like a follow-up or something. Or like Laurie mentioned, maybe we can use like a negative margin, but then the content might jump, which is also not really a nice behavior. So that was more a challenge for you guys, if it's possible or not.
I think even the margin could be animated, but I will just do that on a follow-up because this issue is going to start being super old. And I think, as far as I know, this patch is huge already. So I think with this first approach, then a follow-up will be much easier. And then we only have to discuss this specific padding, right? So we don't really have to do all the thing on the same issue.
Yeah, I agree. I like that approach as well.
So it's not that I don't think it's worth it. It's just that let's fix the tables and then improve the rest of the things, because right now tables are totally broken, right? Without that, well, totally broken.
Yeah, they're really bad on mobile. Yep.
So I think we can just put that in core and then just improve it.
Can I share my screen for a bit, because I have the padding removed version of this.
Oh, nice.
Just if you want to compare it. So here it's without padding, but it definitely has some other implications that we have to consider. So then we have some of the things are very close to the edge of the screen.
Just visually, I think this looks more natural to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, obviously the jumping from not scroll to suddenly scroll, and I think it needs a little bit of thinking behind it, like what's the default state, if it has padding or it doesn't have padding or something like that. And I think if we really open an issue just for that, it's going to be much easier to get that in. Although I
think it should be consistent. I don't think it should change whether you're scrolling or not.
No. I mean, I think we should do a follow-up. And if you look on the left side now, basically the content in the table is aligned with the other items on top, which is also a nice thing to have. So basically the table would then, on smaller screens like mobile, would just, use the whole space. Like basically the workaround you now did with the marching, like the negative marching left and right? So we would have the tables always full width on mobile. So we don't have to deal with jumping, like jumping content and stuff like that, which would be a nice addition. But yeah, let's tackle that and follow up.
Yeah, I think it feels
everything
more...
is better than what we have now. So
I think it feels more like an app, something like this without the paddings. I think it's much better. It feels more natural, like what you would actually expect.
It's also more focused on the content itself.
Exactly.
Like the other thing looks like a border, so it looks like you looking through a window, which is a bit abstracting, or what's the word for it? But,
yeah.
But cool. I like the shadow idea of the table.
Yeah, it's a great improvement.
So you're fine with the shadow as it is, even though how it appears and disappears right now doesn't always look like 100% natural.
I think it's good enough to get that in core, and if we really want to think about improving it, we can always do that. I mean, I already see it like a really good pattern. I don't know.
Yeah, I see it the same way. So basically implementing this now, and then if there is any need for like improvements for the shadow, but I think it's totally fine as it is now, then we can also do that in a follow-up.
Okay, sounds good.
So that it doesn't block you of getting that, a step further.
Okay, I guess we can then move on to the next topic.
Okay.
So I had a question on the secondary tabs positioning. Let me see. So basically on Figma, I'm gonna share my screen. On Figma, the spacing has been defined so we have to space, I think this is S, probably here, is ending in the kind of halfway, the focus ring. Is that the correct way it should be implemented, or should it be either like from the outer line of the focus or the inner line?
So it shouldn't depend on the focus at all. It should depend on the item. So when you actually have if you move to the right, to the one that is active and doesn't have any focus.
Yeah.
If you see, this is aligned with this here. So this is the one that is defining because in some, yeah, go ahead.
So this is not how the focus works, because if you can see here that the focus is 4 pixels wide. So now, is the hover supposed to work so that it's halfway filling on the way of the focus ring?
No, it's just that when we created the focus, we didn't know exactly how this focus were or
Yeah,
was going to be placed.
I think it can stay the way as it is currently, right?
So we have an issue to implement this correctly, because of right now we have like too much spacing on this, and to be able to implement it properly, we need to know like how is it exactly that we want it to work. So
let me check. Where do we have a secondary tab in the admin UI? I'm going to check it locally.
How does it work for other elements, or how does this what's the difference between the tabs and other like input elements or something like that, like other focusable elements?
So tabs don't use the standard focus effect. They have a customized solution.
Okay.
But basically how it works usually is so that this goes outside of the element that is being focused. So for example, if you have a background, the background would be inside here. It would not go to the area of the focus, because the focus is kind of outside the element, not inside.
Yes, but then the easiest would be that the focus is just outside, right? And the alignment of the spacing will just be the real, let's like in quotes, the real element itself without the border. So without the focus. So the focus would be outside of the element.
But this will look quite different with that change because of, I don't know, how can I not select that, but select everything else? How do I, no. How do I select elements? So maybe this is gonna work. Okay, so basically the positioning. Okay, so before it was here. This one is, so I would have to move 1 pixel this way. And so that's actually where it is. If we add the spacer of this size. So the question is this how it should be? Or should we be changing this one, the size of the spacing?
I think this is how it should be. I mean, the less the space that we have here, the better. But does it end up being a space that doesn't has anything to do with anything else?
Well, this one should be
13. Yeah, it doesn't have anything else to do. Well, we could.
actually it should be 1 more pixel up.
Then if it's 12, then it's perfect. It is already an existing measure.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely describe it in the design system from outside of the focus ring, but it's very confusing for someone implementing this because conceptually the focus ring is always outside of the element. So I guess it's up to you to describe that. It would be nice if you at least include both of the measurements there.
If we include, what do you mean?
Like the measurement without, like we should show the measurement without the focus ring, because that's, I don't think, so probably what is wrong on this one is that the first element is focused.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe the first one should be hovered. And that's a good one because that's the background, so. But yeah, so maybe you can fix this and then we can implement this based on that.
Does it help this right now here?
Yeah, but I think this one should be different size.
So this is more for the left spacing. More
so
than.
it's going to be 12 pixels, but this one should be. I'm not sure if the hover background is the right size.
Okay, so it should be higher, 1 pixel higher.
No, I think it should be lower.
How
Because
much?
of, let's see, where do we have the height defined? So the height is 3 EM, 48 pixels. Is that the height of this? It's 40 pixels right now. Oh, it should be higher. I don't. That's confusing.
Oops.
Maybe it's less on the secondary. Yeah, it's 40 for the secondary. So 40 is fine. So I guess then the focus is the one that is not correct. Yeah, so the focus should be bigger.
Okay.
Because it's not rendered outside of the. So what else do we have after that?
I think there was another issue you shared, or
Yeah,
otherwise.
it's the hover effect of the image image style creation form. So there's this anchor table. And so it's basically just using a table element, so it gets the table styles. So when you hover, it hovers, like the hover effect is visible on the wall row, and we're changing it so that it's to one cell.
Tables.
So this is how it works in 7, and it's been working like this for a long time. So I assume that this is how it should work, but I just wanted to confirm with you.
Yes. I would say so. I mean, do you think otherwise, Christina?
Sorry, I just got disconnected for 1 second, and the last thing I heard is that those are tables.
Yeah, so these two are tables, but in this one you are kind of specifically selecting a cell, not a row. So kind of the question was, even though this has worked like this in 7 and kind of for a long time, I was wondering if we should be changing it to be like this, like the issue is proposing. Are we fine with that?
As a first step, yes. I don't think actually this is the best UI for explaining what is going on here, but yeah, at least for now, this is the way. This is much better.
Okay, sounds good. I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have any topics?
I have a really small question because I don't remember exactly what we said on the last call. Where was I? No. Here. So I have a question. The thing is that, did we decide that this one was the correct or this one? The one with the prefix with red, or the one with the prefix not red?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I remember that we all agreed, but yeah, I will look at the recording otherwise. Yeah, don't worry. And the other is, I'm not sure which one of these ones is the better. I would say this one, that actually has the focus around the whole thing, because at the end is the whole thing. And actually this might be the most accurate, because it is actually showcasing that only this is the element that has any interaction. And then this one is just, I'm not really sure. So I'm really a little bit blocked here. I really don't know what's the best thing to do here. So any thoughts?
So what if you said, because so how it works is it's not transparent, it's white. So how does it look like if the one that goes on top, you add the white border inside instead of showing the gray behind?
Okay. Something like this, maybe.
Yeah, this is how it would probably look like if we implemented it this way.
Any thoughts, the rest of the people?
This is probably how it would work out of the box. Like this is probably how it would look like without making any changes to it.
Yeah, I think visually the third one is the nicest, but I think the middle one is the most accurate one. So I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So
third one would be a
gonna-
bit difficult to implement too.
Okay, so I'm gonna delete that so I don't have the confusion like we have for this. Yeah, that's all that I had.
Okay.
Then meeting done. Thanks
Any other
everybody.
topics?
Yeah. Any other one?
Doesn't sound like anyone else has any topics. So yeah, if there's something we can discuss it next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.